Hey, this is Lee with Lord's Chimney again. Welcome to Lunch with Lee. Today I'm going over something I don't talk about a ton, but we do it all the time, which is dryer vents. When do you know you need someone to look at your dryer vents, have them cleaned, have them inspected? How do you know? And there's a couple symptoms that are really easy to look for, which is if I put it on a sensor dry, my dryer runs and runs and runs and runs and runs and never stops, and my clothes never get dry. The other one is I put it on a time cycle, and the cycle ends, and my clothes are still wet. Other symptoms are the top of the dryer gets really, really hot, or this is the worst one, I smell burning, like smoke and burning. All those are really, really bad. But what I was doing is going through and going over our process so that our people answering the phone have bullet points on how to explain our process. And I was going to go over that a little bit with you today. The first thing we do when we get out to your house is we're going to obviously greet you, ask you for symptoms, sort of diagnose our customer, but we're going to find out what's going on, what's wrong. And then right after that, the correct thing for us is we use gauges. There's one that goes behind your dryer on that little flexible thing. It's called a connector that goes on there, and it measures how hard the dryer's having to work to get air to the outside. There's also another gauge we use on the outside to figure out how fast the air is coming out. And with those two numbers, we can diagnose a whole lot of problems. We can tell if it's working correctly, if it's clogged, if it's designed incorrectly, if it's venting into wall spaces. We can try all kinds of stuff, and we can kind of figure that out. The next thing is we are going to look through your vent and figure out how long it is, how many elbows are in it, to figure out, is this designed correctly? The max effective length, according to our code here in Houston, and this is going to change in a little bit once they update code, is effective length of 25 feet. Effective length is a thing we use to measure where you add on extra length for every elbow, depending on how much it bends to get the effective length. But we have a gauge we put behind. We also have a gauge we put at the end. We can tell, sometimes we look at customers who are like, hey, this is working great. Other times we're like, look, something's wrong. We got to figure it out. So the very next step is if it needs to be cleaned, which is look at the whole vent, make sure it's made out of the correct material to make sure we don't destroy it when we clean, and make sure that the termination, or where it goes out the side on the side of your house or the top, is not restricting airflow and that it does not let birds in, or that the leavings from the birds are not restricting airflow. I guess it kind of works the same way. But because if there's a design flaw, we can clean it. And if it goes right back to being bad again, or birds nest in there again in the spring, we get disappointing customers. So that's the initial evaluation phase. And then it comes to actually cleaning a dryer vent. For us, and there's lots of ways to do this, but I'll tell you why we do what we do, is we bring in a specialty vac. It's designed for chimneys and dryer vents. We hook it to the inside of the house. We turn that vacuum on so the whole line is under suction. We go to the outside and we run a brush that spins. It's connected to a drill from the outside all the way to the inside, and all the lint that it creates, it sucks into the vacuum cleaner. That way we do not have lint everywhere like a mushroom cloud. Now, it does look very impressive to have a mushroom cloud of lint go into the sky. But cleaning that up, if it goes in pools, goes in the next door neighbor's house, if the grass is wet, all that lint everywhere, the birds are not going to pick it all up. That actually makes a huge mess. So we actually use a vacuum to take all the lint back into the actual vacuum, no mess, and it does just as good a job as blowers and other things like that. But rotary brush from the outside all the way to the inside. And I'm looking at my checklist that I'm handing over in just a second. The next thing we do is we take the same gauges and we put them in the same spot to see how much good we did. What, after it's perfectly clean, how well is this working? Is it working really well? Or is it still not working? And do we need to make some adjustments? So once we've eliminated the whole lint thing, what's going on with it? Does it need to be shorter? Do we need a new termination? Whether it's on the roof or on the side of the house, what's going on? And terminations can make a huge difference. And then after that, talk to the customer. We've taken a ton of pictures of the connector that goes from behind your dryer to the wall. So we can show you that. We can show you the termination type you have. We can go over how long yours is. We can go over how well it's working or how well it's not working before and after cleaning. And then we're going to email you that report, those pictures, and that kind of documentation so that you have it. And the benefit to all this documentation with gauges is next time we come out to your house and you say there's a problem, we can put the same gauges in the same spot again, and we know what's going on. So we can say it's exactly as we left it. There's something else going on. Or, wow, how did this get this bad this quickly? Or it just needs to be cleaned again. That's possible too. That this is the maintenance cycle we need. But actual having gauges documenting the condition and the performance of a vent is vital importance. So when someone else comes out to your house, runs a brush through, sprays lint all over the place, and then at the end says, okay, it's clean, is it really working correctly at the end or not? And that's something we document. We take great pride in making sure it's doing well. And then if you call us back and say it's not doing well again, we already know when we left what the condition was. So when we come back, we kind of know. So that is the process of how we clean a dryer vent and how we kind of diagnose problems as well. So if you have any questions about dryer vents, please leave them in the comments, whether you're listening on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. But give us a short little thing saying this is helpful. It's not. Please like it, share it. The more people we can help, the better. And who knows, probably the people answering the phones maybe listen to this video as well. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.